Hello, guys. Hello, and welcome to today's session, MBA JAM with SCMHRD Season 17. My name is Agniva Mitra, and I'm a part of the admissions and PR team of SCMHRD Pune. I'm a first year student pursuing specialization in human resources, and my SNAP percentile in SNAP 2023 was 99.2 percentile. Let me introduce you to my team. Deep.
So, hello guys, I am Deep Shah. I secured 99.07 percentile last year in SNAP, and I am the part of MBA Business Analytics batch of this year.
Hello everyone, my name is Antara Rawat. I'm currently pursuing sales and marketing and I scored 99.3 percentile in SNAP.
So, without wasting any further time, let's move forward with the presentation. Next slide, please. Yeah. So there are a few important dates that you need to remember for applying to various colleges. Now, as you all might be aware that the registration date for SNAP has already passed. However, the registration for the various colleges that fall under the ambit of SNAP are still open. For example, the last day to register for SCMHRD specifically is on the 7th of December. So please note that after this date, there will be no extension. So apply as soon as you can. Now, next comes the SNAP test dates. So SNAP will be held 3 times this year. The first time will be on the 8th of December. The second attempt will be on the 15th of December, and the third attempt will be on the 21st of December. Now, please note that the respective admit cards for each of these tests will come out 6 days prior to your actual test. For example, the admit card for the first SNAP test will be out on the 2nd of December. For the 15th of December attempt, it will be out on the 9th of December, and for the 21st December attempt, it will be out on the 15th of December. The test results will be tentatively out on 8th of January. Now, please note that it might not be out on exactly that date, but it will come out in and around that time. And the next thing comes the shortlist announcement. It is expected to be on the 17th of January. Now, after that, from the last week of December, from the last week of January, the GEA process will begin. These are some of the very few important dates that you need to remember for your upcoming SNAP exam. Next slide, please. So now when you're registering for SNAP, after you're done with your registration for the actual exam, you need to apply to various colleges and the various courses separately. Now, SCMHRD offers 3 broad courses, that is MBA Core, MBA in Business Analytics, and MBA in Infrastructure Development and Management. Now, the eligibility criteria for each of these courses are slightly different. For example, for the MBA Core batch, you need to have a minimum of 50% marks in your graduation. That is the only eligibility criteria that is there. Your background does not matter, and anything else apart from the 50% marks in your graduation criteria, there is nothing else. However, for the business analytics batch, you need a minimum of 2 years of work experience on top of the 50% marks that you need in your undergraduation. Apart from that, the infrastructure development and management, on top of the 50% marks that you need to have in your graduation, you need to be from a bachelor's in engineering background, a BTech background, a bachelor's in architecture background, or a bachelor's in planning background. But if you're not from any of these 4 backgrounds, you need to have a minimum of 12 months of work experience in an infrastructure related field. It can be anything. It can be related to the power sector, it can be related to the energy sector, but it has to be related to an infrastructure field. And that is it. Next slide, please. Now, coming to a few tips that we have for you for the various sections. Now, I'm going to take the tips for general English because that is my favorite subject and my favorite topic in the exam. Now, the first thing that I would like to advise you is that strengthen your grammar basics to tackle sentence correction and error detection effectively. Now, the only way you can become very, very good at grammar is to read as often as you can. Now, oftentimes when you try to understand grammar in a technical way, it doesn't sit inside your head. But as and when you read more and more books, read more and more newspapers. The logic of the grammar, it actually sits inside your head, and you're able to make logical assumptions from that. Now, practice questions on reported speech, tenses, and subject-verb agreement. For this also, I would suggest that read as much as you can, read newspapers. And instead of remembering things in a very technical way, just remember it through practice and practice. Identify unfamiliar words, learn their meanings, and use them in sentences. The best way to remember difficult words or synonyms and antonyms is to keep on practicing them in your daily usage. Now, whenever we talk in English and we use certain words, we tend to remember the meaning even without actually subconsciously wanting to. So that is one tip that I would really like to give you when it comes to this section. Now, another tip that I would really like to give you is that the general English section is such that you either know the answer or you don't know the answer. There is no point in staying in the section for like 2 to 3 minutes and trying to understand if you'll be able to answer this particular question or not. You either know the answer or you don't. So finish it as soon as you can. 7 to 8 minutes will be the ideal time. If you can finish it under that time, it'll be even better. But I would suggest do not spend more than 10 to 12 minutes in this particular section. Memorize idioms and idiomatic expressions to enhance verbal fluency. Now, this is something, idioms and phrases are some things that are really common in the SNAP exam. So make sure to practice as many idioms as you can and use them in your daily workflow. Now, focusing on time management by regularly reading and practicing verbal ability questions. So, when you are fluent in reading, when you can read very fast, you automatically, when you read a particular question, you don't have to spend time in analyzing and understanding that particular question. So, for this as well, I would say read more and more newspapers, read more and more books, and your reading skill would automatically increase, and the power of retention when you read something will also increase. Next slide, please.
Okay, so coming to analytical and logical reasoning, that's my strong suit as same which is general English for Agniva. So let's talk about practice various type of reasoning problems under time constraints to improve your skills. So basically this focus on your strength and weaknesses. So if you are particularly good at particular section, then at this point of time you don't need to go through that section the lot of time. Just give some time to revise the formulas or concept and move to the sections in which you are weaker as compared to your stronger sections. Now, moving on to the solve puzzle regularly and to enhance your logical thinking ability. So, you think that this might not be so helpful based upon the curriculum is different from the solving puzzles, but it's not so different. If you look at the logical reasoning section, there are different kind of series question also. There are some figures which figures are provided based upon which you need to find the direction or something. So all those kind of questions are also there in the logical reasoning section. So solving sudoku, even that's the another skill that will sharpen your mind at this moment. So just to freshen your mind or something, for that you can solve this puzzle. It will improve your logical thinking. Now moving on to avoid making assumptions when dealing with the reasoning task. So that's the I would like to give you an example like A is a son of B. So in this sentence, definitely A is a male, but B gender of B is not so sure. But when we see this in the paper, we think that B is also male. So don't make this kind of assumptions during the exam. It will harm your chances to get correct answer. Now moving on to the base your answer solely on the factual information and avoiding assumption. That's a similar thing, because when you assume something, your mind tends to direct your approach towards that thing, and it will give you the wrong answer at the end. So don't assume anything until and unless it is given in the question. Coming to allocate time to the reasoning in portion to the other section, yeah, that's another thing. As Agniva mentioned, give only 7 to 8 minutes to general English, right? So that's the correct thing while solving the snap, because verbal is the section in which you can save time. When it comes to logical and analytical reasoning, there are few questions which are like that it will take more than 1 minute. So in that particular type of questions, you need to choose it wisely. So if you leave those question and choose the correct question which are taking less amount of time, then you are good to go. So make your question selection at par with the exam. So when other exams are considered, you have more than 1 minute, but in snap you don't have more than 1 minute per question. Now coming to write A to Z numbers, yeah, that's another trick. Like when the paper is starting, just you can write A to Z and 1 to 26 along with the alphabet. So it will help you if some questions are there along with your this kind of pattern or syllogisms. All those things are very very helpful when you write all these things in the initially in the paper. Even you can use AJOTI kind of acronym to use the first, fifth, and 15, all those kind of letters to just get your solutions faster. Next slide, please. Yeah, coming to quantitative ability, it's also like verbal English. So if you know, if you are good at the particular section of quantitative ability, then you are like you are able to solve it, and you will solve it within a minute. So that particular thing gives you a confidence that I am capable enough. So I need to solve this question, or I need to leave this question, right? So make your thoughts clear before solving the or attempting any question. So like again, I would mention that make your question selection right at the particular time, right? So coming to memorize fractions, this kind of things are helpful for, you cannot remember all the fractions definitely, but just remember all those particular fraction like 1 by 7. This kind of fractions are useful when it comes to this kind of exams. Yeah, talking about Vedic maths. So if you don't know Vedic maths, then it's not possible like at this particular moment like you would revise the concepts of Vedic maths and to use this. So leave it if you are not so good at Vedic maths, but if you are good at Vedic maths, definitely try to use it. It will fasten your calculation. Focus on your strengths and don't neglect weaknesses. Exactly, because snap is a kind of exam. In some of the questions direct formula will be used to solve the question. So even you are not so good at particular topic or section, if you are leaving it completely, you will not be able to get that particular mark. So just don't leave it, remember the formula, do the as much as you can, so that if question comes, easier question comes from that particular topic, you will able to solve it. Use options to backtrack. Exactly, the options are also the part of question. So don't treat the options as a separate thing from the question. So when you utilize those information into your question, you will able to solve it faster. Some in some question like options are like that, that you know that answer is going to be multiple of 11 or 7 based upon your formula you are using. So in some of the question, if other options are not the multiple of that particular number, then you can directly solve the question within a 10 seconds or 20 seconds also. So use those kind of tricks. Review key geometric concepts like triangle. Yeah, exactly, that's a completely formula based thing, so don't forget these basic things. So before the exam, always revise those formula, and you are thinking that I will revise it last day. Don't uh, don't stay in that particular belief that in that exam pressure you will able to remember it. Just start revising all those formula daily, so that till when the exam comes, you are good to go with those formula. Skip questions which are lengthy and revisit them after finishing with the easier question. Exactly. So choosing question is the one of the most important things while attempting snap, because it's like a T20 game. If you are playing a one maiden over, then game is over, right? So don't fall into that emotional trap or something, that if I have practiced a lot of question of this particular topic, I need to solve this. Don't get into that trap. Just leave those question. You can solve the question after the exam as well. So don't fall for that particular ego. Okay, next slide, please. So we are having a quiz for you. That's a 12-minute, 12 questions quiz. You will be getting around 14 minutes of time because we have the additional information also. So just scan this QR code from your phone, and we have also pasted the link in the chat. So you can click on that particular link and solve this quiz particularly. And at the end of the session, winners will be given some prizes. So all the best, guys. Okay, so we have received some questions. So Suresh is asking that what is the average snap percentile for MBA core and SCMHRD. Okay, so I would not set the particular number, but always target 98 to 99 percentile, because at this particular time anything lesser than 98 would not make you don't make your admission like you are pretty sure that if I am getting 98 plus, then it's like that, this you will be have some chances. But if it is less than 97, you will not be able to sure that I will be getting it or not. So always aim for 99 and 98 plus percentile.
So in the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us. Also, adding on to what Deep said, we don't recommend setting any particular percentile as your expectations, because the cutoffs keep changing every single year. It mainly depends on the number of applicants and the number of seats we have available. So score as high as you can, and 99 percentile should be safe. So we have a question from Rajan Arora from where can I get free mocks? So, Rajan, we are going to come to that very, very shortly. We understand that at this time, people are very anxious about the exam and they want to give as many mocks as possible. And oftentimes, we rely on free resources to sort of boost our prep. And so we understand that, and various aspirants have also faced the same problem. And so, to sort of get some help regarding that, we have come up with various campaigns and events in which we do provide some free resources to the aspirants that are there. And please stay tuned till the end of our presentation because we will address the issue very, very shortly.
Okay, so guys, deadline for the quiz is 9:34. So please solve it within that time. After 9:34, your submission will not be considered. So kindly submit the quiz before 9:34.
So Om Gupta is asking us second and third attempts harder than the first time. So Om, I would say that all of the three attempts are of the same difficulty level. Now, oftentimes what happens is that in one paper, if the verbal section is specifically hard, in the next paper the analytical and logical reasoning section might be a little bit hard. So overall, the paper is very, very balanced. All of the three slots are of the same difficulty level because, as you might know, that there is no normalization in Snap. So keeping that in mind, SIU sets the paper as such that people do not get any unfair advantage if they're appearing for the different slots that are there. So please don't keep such perceptions in your head because if you do so, you will automatically have automatically be underestimating yourself when you're setting for a particular attempt. So there is no such thing as one attempt being more difficult than the other. All of them are the same level. It's just that the difficulty level of the various sections might vary a little bit.
We have another question from Sneha Gupta, who is asking that I am getting around 16 marks. Any suggestions? So, first of all, Sneha, don't focus too much on the marks you are getting right now in mocks. Believe me, everyone, when we were at your place, we were scoring same and lesser marks even. So, don't focus on marks right now. Just try to strengthen your basics, and you will do great in the exam.
Okay, so we have got another question. Which marks is good in mocks for 99 percentile? Okay, so again, as Agniva mentioned, uh, don't set a particular number in your mind. Always aim for a percentile. If you are giving a mock, look for the percentile you are receiving. So whenever you are giving a mock, if you are getting 40, if you are getting 50, if you are getting 35, that doesn't matter. If the question is going, if a question paper is tough, then even 35 might get 99 percentile, and if question is easier, even 55 might get 99 percentile. So don't attempt, like, don't fall for this trap that I'm getting 40 or I'm getting 45, then it's enough. Don't target any particular score. Look for the percentile always. If you are giving mocks, then also look for the percentile, in which you also get mock percentiles, right? So always try to look at that percentile and check whether you where you are this in that particular competition.
So Ritik Singh is asking, can you tell the breakdown of questions in quants among QA and DI? So basically, there are three sections in the SNAP examination. The first section is the general English section, which contains 15 questions. The analytical and logical reasoning part contains 25 questions, and the quants section contains 20 questions. Now QA and DI. Now, so the thing is that quant section also contains some questions of data interpretation, and there is no set number of questions that come from specifically from the quants topics and the data interpretation separately. So you can expect around, and again, this expectation, the figures that I'm quoting are purely based on the experience that we've had in the past. So please don't think that these are the exact number of questions that might come in the exam. So we can expect around 3 to 4 questions from data interpretation, and the rest of them might be from the quant section in which you have studied the various topic of quants.
So we have another question from analyst. Does score is displayed just after the exam is over? No, score will not be displayed after the exam is over. You will get your result on 8th of January.
So there's a question which says that sometimes questions are too lengthy. Now, look, The snap examination is such that you roughly get a minute to answer per question. Now, in this, you have to understand, you need to prioritize, right? You need to prioritize which questions you can do within 30 seconds. You need to prioritize those questions first. Now, there will be questions which are there just to trick you. Now, for example, if there is a certain favorite topic that you have in the quant section or the LR section, and you get stuck in that question, and you know for a fact that it's going to be a very lengthy calculative question. Now, that is when you need to understand that even if it is your favorite subject, even if it is your favorite topic, and you think you're extremely good at it, it's your strength, leave that question for the time being. Because in the pursuit of answering that one particular question, you might be missing out on 3 to 4 extra questions, which might make all of the difference when your final percentile is calculated. So please try and understand that SNAP is an exam in which speed and accuracy are of the utmost importance, and you need to understand which questions to leave when. Now, we're not saying that you have to leave that question completely. You can finish the entire paper and then come back to that question to answer it. So please make sure that you're very, very careful when it comes to questions which are slightly lengthier than your average question.
So, guys, we have 5 minutes left for the quiz. Kindly make your submissions and start attempting the questions which are not you are planning to leave, because we have no negative marking in this particular quiz, so you can guess the questions as well. So we have question like I'm getting 30 to 25 marks in mocks and I tend to make less questions in quant. Which chapter should I mainly focus on to get high marks in quants? So mainly when we talk about quants, there are various like good number of chapters like profit and loss, simple interest, compound interest, logarithms, even arithmetic, quadratic equation, all those topics are there. But but some of the topics are like this profit and loss, which are only dependent on some of the formulas, ratios, percentages, simple interest, compound interest. All those topics are like that. If you are you have practiced even lesser number of questions as compared to other topics, then you can solve the question in snap. So try to focus on the formulas, because if you remember the formula, you will able to solve a good number of questions in that particular sections. And when we talk about geometry and all those sections, that are usually time taking in that snap exam. So avoid attempting all the questions when you are already attempting less number of questions, right? So try to devote your time in the questions which are taking less number of time, right?
So one last question I'll take before we end the quiz is that are the calculations involved in quants very lengthy in the actual paper? Because in mocks I do end up wasting time. Now look, as we mentioned in the QA tips section, calculations in certain questions might be very difficult. Not difficult exactly, they might be a little bit time consuming. Now, in this case, you need to use the shortcuts and the Vedic math techniques that make your calculation easier. Because, you know, Vedic maths, while it may be a little bit tedious in the beginning to try and learn, it will end up saving a lot of time for you in the actual exam. On top of that, practice and learn at least the first 10 to 15 fractions of the percentages, because as you know, like 1 by 8 is equal to 12.5%. Now oftentimes you will get certain kind of percentages in questions, and if you know the fraction of that particular percentage, it will make your life easier as well as your calculations easier. And as you all know, snap is an exam in which there are no calculators allowed, so you need to understand, you need to be very, very on point with your calculations, and you need to be very, very you need to pay attention to the details basically. So yeah, that's the tip that I can give you regarding quants.
So guys, last 2 minutes left, तो कमाना स्टार्ट कर दो और फटाफट से सबमिट कर दो. Oh, and also if two people are getting same amount of score, then we'll decide the winner as the person who has submitted earlier will get the prize. So if you are already done with the quiz, then you can submit.
So, Nandam, unfortunately, we do not have access to the paper until and unless it is revealed in the actual exam. So, we can't really tell you how many questions you can examine from the actual question paper. A 75% accuracy is not exactly bad. The tip that I have for you is that when you're taking mocks, if you're spending 1 hour to take that particular mock, spend at least an hour and a half to 2 hours analyzing that mock, because you need to understand where you're making the mistake, whether it is a calculation error, whether it is a silly error, or whether it is a conceptual error that you have. it is very, very important to analyze your mocks, understand where you went wrong, and make sure that you do not repeat the same mistakes over and over again. So that is the tip that I would like to give you, and it's a very good thing that you're doing arithmetic, probability, permutation, and combination, and logs. Generally, people tend to leave these topics because they're not exactly something that people are comfortable with. So one more tip that I would like to give you in the quant section, as somebody who has faced trouble with quants before, is that if you're not comfortable with probability, permutation, combination, algebra, just do the basics, because the basics are more than enough to give you that edge. Those 2 to 3 questions which you will be able to attempt just by doing the basics will make all of the difference between a 97 percentile, a 98 percentile, and a 99 percentile.
So, guys, time's up. Please, all of you, please submit your quiz, and we will announce the winners at the end of the session. So, please stay tuned. Moving on to the next slide, please.
So basically, about our college SCMHRD, talking about its ranking, we are ranked 8th in Best Masters in Management in India by Financial Times and 76th in Best Masters in Management globally by Financial Times. We are also the third best private B school in Maharashtra by IIRF 2024 ranking and fourth best private B school in India by IIRF 2024 ranking. Apart from that, we have the AACSB accreditation, which is only present with 5% of the B schools globally. And we have also secured NBA accreditation. So, what does all these ranking and accreditation do for an institute? Our curriculum is equipped with the current corporate relevant technical skills, and the curriculum that we have is constantly adapted with the current industry trends. So, moving on to the next slide. So basically, apart from giving the SNAP test, what all you have to do to come into SCMHRD. So the SNAP score that you have has 50% weightage, and apart from that, we have 10% weightage for group exercise and 40% weightage for personal interaction. So let me ask you a question. What do you think is the difference between group exercise and a group discussion? Any guesses? Okay. So let me tell you that group discussion basically follows a format where you're given a topic and you have to speak for or against the topic. But in the group exercise, you're generally given a case and all of the participants have to come to a common consensus. Apart from that, for personal interaction, we all know what a personal interview is. But a personal interaction is a little bit informal and it is kind of a casual conversation between the interviewer and the interviewee. So moving on to the next slide. So this is the most awaited slide, which is the placements. So talking about the placements for MBA core, the summer placement, the highest stipend was 4.5 lakh, the average stipend was 2.48 lakh, and the median stipend was 2 lakhs. For the final placements, the highest was 38 lakhs, the average CTC was 24.28, and the median CTC was 22.80. Moving ahead. For MBA in Business Analytics, the summer placements was 3, the highest stipend was 3 lakh, the average stipend was 1.38 lakh, and the median stipend was 1.4 lakh. For the final placements, the highest CTC was 41.9 lakhs, the average CTC was 22.14 lakhs. Moving ahead. For MBA in Infrastructure Development and Management, the summer placement, the highest stipend was 2.5 lakhs, the average stipend was 0.71 lakhs, and the median stipend was 0.70 lakh. And for the final placements, the highest CTC was 28.9 lakh, the average CTC was 15.98 lakh. Moving to the next slide.
So coming to the slide for our esteemed recruiters that come to our campus, I'm sure a lot of you will spot your favorite companies. For example, there is Google, there is Godrej, there is GSK, there is GMR, Bosch, Aditya Birla Group, and a lot more companies that come to our campus for hiring. We have FMCG giants like ITC, HUL, which come to our campus to hire students. They're not exactly biased towards a particular group of people. They hire freshers and they hire for various roles that are there in our college. So now this is not an exhaustive list. Last year, 116 companies came to our campus for placements, and these are the ones that we have managed to put onto the slide. So please, so you will know that a lot of the industry giants in the various sectors that are there, they come to our campus for hiring. So you can understand the level of placements that we have. Moving on to the next slide. Now, coming to one of the best parts about SCMHRD, which is that it is a completely student driven campus. We have 14 clubs and committees which take care of all of the needs of our college, right from cultural fests to the companies that come to our campus. Everything is done and decided by the students. That is the level of autonomy that we have, that is the level of responsibility that we have. For example, we as the admissions and PR team have campaigns and events throughout the year. Through our campaigns and events, we stay connected to the two aspirants like you, wherein we provide information that you generally do not get anywhere else. We interact with you guys. We have various campaigns and events that are there to help you with your preparation, that are there to help you with your GPI tactics and everything, and so on and so forth. If you keep following us on our social media handles, you will find that we have various campaigns to help you with not only your preparation but also to keep your mind and your health in a good way, basically. So what we do is that we try to deliver our perspectives through our various campaigns and events, so that we as students, and when we were aspirants, the problems that we used to face, so that you do not face such problems, we do these campaigns and events. The admissions and PR team takes care of the entire admissions process as well, apart from the PR activities. The CRT, the corporate relations team, is the placement cell of the college. The alumni relations team takes care of all of the alumni activities that take part in our college. NEEV is the third largest peaceful fest in the country, and it is a committee that is managed completely by the students. And the various other committees that are there are also there for the various interests that students have. And to pursue their own interests, they join these particular committees and plan all of the events and campaigns according to their interests. Moving on.
So, these are some of the highlights of our campus. We have an auditorium with a capacity of 500 plus students. We have a swimming pool, a gymnasium for health freaks, and apart from that, we have Urban Katta. So basically, this is the place that I am found most in. Here I'm always just chilling out with my friends, with Agneva and with Deep, and I always like to have cold coffee. Because of that, I always have a sore throat, but it is something that you must have. So moving on. So basically, someone was asking initially, what are the strategies to crack Snap? So first of all, before telling about the events and campaigns that we have for you, I would like to tell you one personal tip. Apart from what Agneva said, that don't leave any topic and just focus on every topic. Apart from that, he also mentioned about analyzing the mocks. So what I used to do personally is that after attempting a mock, I would try and attempt all the questions again and write down the topics in which I have answered incorrectly. And after 4 or 5 mocks, I would try to see a general trend of which topics I'm not able to attempt, and then just read only those topics for the next mock. Slightly and slowly, the few marks would increase in my next mock, and these few increase in the marks would help me gain confidence, which is very essential at this point of time. So, what we have done for you is that we have a few events and campaigns like Word Up, Logical Amethyst, and Formula of the Week. As the name itself suggests, the Word Up is a campaign where we give you verbal questions. Logical Amethyst is a campaign where we give you LR questions, and the Formula of the Week is a campaign where we help you practice quant. Apart from that, we also had AOD, Aspirant Outreach Drive. I hope some of you have also seen our session there, where we also visited various coaching institutes, and we also conducted session and told students about Snap and the various other opportunities they have. Apart from that, we also have Rookie, where we offer weekly quizzes and a mini and major mock. This will be discussed further in the later slides. And we also have a series called Things You Don't Know About SCMHRD, where we tell you about facts, various facts that you don't know about SCMHRD, various interesting facts. And one more campaign we have, which is Tranquility Tales. So basically, when you're preparing for an exam, I understand that when I was preparing for the exam, I was very anxious and I used to be very stressed. So these are some of the ways that we offer to you to just calm yourself a little bit, and so that you will be able to perform according to your potential on the D day. So moving on.
Okay, so the slide just Antra covered. So that was not the whole set of campaigns that we run. We do a lot of campaign every single month. Like we have almost 3 to 4 campaigns running simultaneously each week. So for that campaigns and event, it's completely for you guys, so that you will get the information that is authentic and that's the true coming from right from the SCMHRD. So for that, all those campaigns are just to give you the gist of the questions that are coming in the snap, the gist of the topics that you should prepare, and all those information is there in that particular campaign. So we have already posted lots of posts regarding the campaign. You can follow us, our social media handles, and even you have any doubts or something, you can ask us on that our social media platforms. We are more than active on the our platforms. You the links of the all the social media platforms you will get in the chat box. So now coming to the please move to the previous slide. Yeah, so coming to the rookie 9.0, so you will say that what's that rookie. So rookie is the particular the name of the event in which we have 4 weeks in which we post daily quizzes on our various social media platforms, and at the end of the week we announce the winners and they get the exciting prizes. Now that's not just enough. We have 3 mocks coming on 2nd of December, 3rd of December, and 4th of December. So in which the mock that is going to be held on 2nd of December, it is going to be the mini mock, which is 30 minutes, 30 questions, and other two which are on 3rd of December and 4th of December are major quiz, same like snap mocks that's coming from right from the SMHRD is on 4th and 3rd. So 60 minutes, 60 questions. Test your preparation here, and you are just good to go. If you are getting any number of score, that's right. If you will get it, if you are get low scores, then don't be like that. I am not going to uh, I'm not prepared, or don't get disappointed. Just these are the mocks that are giving you the right kind of level, which are going to be the similar level as of Snap, similar pattern. There is going to be negative marking in this particular quiz that you just gave, which was of 12 questions. There was no negative marking, but in this particular mocks, you there is negative marking. So just treat it like a snap, right? It's not a mock. Treat it like a snap. The QR code is right in front of you. Just scan this QR code. Even link is also pasted in the chat box. These are going to be held on Unstop platform. So just go and register yourself. Don't miss out this chance, because that's the right kind of test and quiz. This is going to be there, and you will get the completely like a practice match. It's completely practice match for you. Now moving on to the next slide, please. So if you are overwhelmed with that particular slide, then there is another slide of official snap mock coming from SMHRD, which is going to be held on 5th of December, just 2 days prior to the first snap, right? So don't miss out this. That's another QR code for you. Just scan this QR code. So we are giving you total 3 snap mocks. Don't miss out this. Please register yourself for this particular mock, and your preparation will be tested here. We'll pause for 1 minute to scan this QR code. Link is also pasted in the chat box. So meanwhile, we have received some of the questions. In personal interaction, do they ask about the undergrad subjects? Okay, so coming to that particular question, in the personal interaction, basically it is always keep in mind that the aspirant is in the calm space. So when coming to the questions, the interaction can go from any side. If you are interested in particular sport, then they might ask you about that particular sport. If you are interested in particular activity, they might ask you about the activity. Undergrad questions can be there, cannot be there. If you are having work the work related question can be there, not cannot be there. So it's completely dependent on the panelist and your way of presenting yourself in front of the interviewer. So you cannot ignore the thing like this. I'm preparing for the MBA, then I don't need to prepare for this particular undergrad subject or something. Be prepared with, be thoroughly prepared with your particular like moments in life, right? If you have achieved something in sports, if you have achieved something in the academic as well, they might ask you about this particular thing, right? If you are mentioning your interest, if you are mentioning some online course, they might ask you about that. So be prepared with all of this. Okay, now moving on to the next slide, please. Yeah, these are our various social media handles. So you can scan this QR code, and that will get you the particular link of all the social media handles. Also, links are also again pasted in the chat box, so you can follow us from there as well. If you have any question regarding admission process, form filling, even if you are getting, I hope all of you get through the GPI process of SCMHRD. So in that particular process also you might have some queries. So for that also kindly join this social media groups, as well as on Telegram as well, because you can ask any question on Telegram groups. That's right in front of you, Snap 2024 APR@SCMHRD. So you can join this particular Telegram channel. You can ask us any questions any day. You will be answered immediately, almost. So yeah.
So before we end our presentation, we would just like to tell you that we have this thing called the Ready Reckoner, in which we basically have collated a list of topics and a list of things that are that are going to be very very useful for you in the SNAP exam, as well as the various tips and tricks that we have for you for your GE and PI processes. Now, in the middle of the quiz, I think we asked you like what is the difference between a GD and a GE, and the difference between a P personal interaction and a personal interview. Now, so I see there is a question from Shaunak who is asking, I have a question regarding the interview. What qualities does a panel look for in a candidate? Any key points or factors the panel looks for in a candidate? Now, Shaunak, for to understand the answer to this question, you need to understand what a GE is first. Now, a GD and a GE differ in their actual senses for the fact that a GD, you have to present your own opinions and essentially have to prove why the opinions you put forward are the best. In a GE, you not only have to put your own points forward in a logical manner, but you also have to consider inputs from all of the other team members that you have and come to a common consensus at the end of the discussion. So that is the main difference between a GD and a GE. In a GE, we mainly try to see how collaborative you are and how much you have the ability to take inputs from others and inculcate them in your own opinions. Now, coming to the personal interaction, now as somebody mentioned, I think a few minutes ago, that if the panelists ask question from your undergrad subjects. Now, please understand that the reason the questions from your undergrad are asked are not because we want to check your knowledge. The reason we are asked that is basically we want to see how serious you were about your undergrad, right? So that shows the level of integrity and the level of dedicatedness that you have. Now, if you do not know the answer to a particular question, it does not mean that you're not a right fit for SCMHRD. The main thing that we try to see is that how you handle a situation in which you do not know the answer to that question, whether you're able to think on your feet, whether you have that presence of mind, or whether you get nervous very easily. Now, so the knowledge part we can take care of when you come to SCMHRD. What we try to see is that if you're the right cultural fit for our college, wherein you have that learning attitude, you have the ability to fit in and you have the ability to take inputs from others and enunciate them in your own way of life. That is essentially what we want to see.
Okay, so we have received the question, how many marks should we give from now, and how to improve on the quant section. So coming to the first part of the question, how many marks? So at this particular time, I'm expecting that you all are thorough with your syllabus, and you should attempt as much as the mock you can. But keep in mind that just giving mock is not the only part. You need to revise the mocks as well, right? So if when you are revising mock, you will come to know that in this particular topic, you might feel that I am so confident in this particular topic, but when it comes to the time pressure and exam, you are not able to solve it, right? So all these things are you will come to know when you attempt the mock. So analyze those mocks, and after analyzing, it should be like this: if I am given any question from this mock, I am able to solve it within a 1 minute, right? So this kind of preparation you will need for attempting the snap. Yeah. Now moving on to the second part of the question, how I can improve the quants, right? So when we come to quants, there are various kind of topics that are particularly students feel that these are most difficult, like probability, something, sometimes modern math, sometimes logarithms. So in this kind of topics, if you are not so comfortable in this particular time, then don't devote so much time, because there are only few days left. So just look for the basic formulas in this particular sections and try to manage your time effectively. Choose the question wisely. So the sectional might help. So for that, like if you want to prepare some mini version of mocks, we have our campaign Rookie running that you might follow us on our social media. So in this particular Rookie, you will get the daily 10 questions. So you will get daily 10 questions. You need to just spend 10 minutes. Just solve these questions. You will get the answers of all these questions, and you will get the like the gist of the question, right? When you solve the questions in the particular time limit, you will get the idea that I am able to solve in the time pressure or not. So to check this particular part, we have provided, like we are in the fourth week, right? So we have total 10 minutes quizzes on our social media handles and or on our telegram channel as well. So you can join this telegram channel and you will get all the 20 quizzes, right? From that you can improve the quants.
So we have another question from Athar, who is saying that he has 2 year gap. Is it okay? So Athar, first of all, I would like to tell you that I also had a 2 year gap before coming to SCMHRD. So if you think that it will stop you from getting your dream college, it is definitely not like that. I was also giving some other exams also. So what you have to do is whatever you were doing for these 2 years, whether it was preparing for some other exam or doing anything or pursuing any hobby or internship, you should be clear about that, as questions can be asked regarding that during your personal interaction. Apart from that, you have to be slightly aware about the current affairs that are happening around, because that is crucial for you. And all in all, it would not be a problem if you score the desired percentile.
So now we have received another question. uh, According to you, which mocks are the best for snap, right? So again, we have announced total 4 mocks for you, one mini mock and 3 major mocks. You can attempt all those mocks that those mocks are designed in a way that you will get the taste of the snap, right? So the exams which are going to come on 8th, 15th and 21st, you will get the gist of all these questions, all these topics, all the time, all the environment you will feel during that particular mock. It will give you the practice match experience for that. So those mocks are best for you, right? You can attempt those mocks.
So I will also be taking a part of the question that Antara answered because it's one of my favorite questions to answer basically. Now, as you mentioned that you had 2 years of gap, right? And so did Antara, so do I. Now the thing is that you once you start giving these interviews, you'll understand that whatever you have done in your life up until this point, if you have proper reasoning behind it, right? And if you think that you have made a mistake, or if you think that the 2 years of your life that you were not doing anything, essentially you were not working, maybe you were studying for an exam, or maybe you were doing, so whatever you were doing, you need to justify that. And if you think that what you were doing was well worth the time, even if you did not succeed at it, it is not going to be a problem. The panelist just wants to see how sincere you actually are and how well you're able to articulate whatever you did. It's not about the thing, it's not about the weightage of the thing that you actually accomplished, but it's more about the way you frame your answer, and it's about the way you portray yourself about what you did in those 2 years of gap. So please make sure that you, if you have a gap year, definitely you will be asked questions on why you had an academic gap or why you did not work for those 2 years. Just make sure that the answer you have ready is well articulated and you paint yourself in a positive light. That can make all of the difference. And now coming to the second part that I want to tell you guys is that there is this thing called the Ready Reckoner, like I mentioned previously. It is basically a collated list of all of the topics that we think are important. It also contains tip to your GE strategies as well as your PA strategies. It is a document that we have prepared through painstaking hours of research. We have gone through our own experiences. We have interviewed candidates. We have asked our own batchmates about what they think would be would help them in their final days of the preparation. Now, if you want access to the Ready Reckoner, you can reach out to us on any of our social media handles and we will be happy to provide them to you. For that reason, I would really request you guys to scan this QR code right here. It will go to the link tree, which will contains the links to all of our social media handles. And from there, you can ping us. We will give you access to the Ready Reckoner. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we have tried to cover all of your questions, but still, we can see that some of the questions are still left. So, if you guys have any questions further after the session, you can also ask us on our various social media platforms. We are active on all of our social media handles, so you can follow us. Links are also there on the chat box and even in front of you in the link tree. Right. So now, waiting for the winners. Okay, so we have second prize goes to Amit. So kudos to you, Amit. You are good, well versed with your preparation. Congratulations and keep it up. And first prize goes to Joshiga V. Okay, congratulations, Joshiga. So guys, congratulations to both of you, and all the best for your Snap exams as well.
So, guys, thank you so much for your time and efforts, and thank you so much for joining us in this YouTube live. Being so interactive with us because that is all we want. We were in the same shoes as you last year, so we know that at this point of time, you feel very anxious, you feel unsure about what is about to come in the future. And at this point of time, you need some guidance on, you basically need some clarity. You need people who have already gone through this to tell you that it is going to be okay. So, don't worry about it. I would tell you that my personal experience has been that even though I did take a lot of mocks and I had my strategy ready, the final day in which I went and sat in the exam, that was the day I scored my highest. So please don't fret if you're not scoring as you're expecting to score in your mock tests, because that is just a test of how much knowledge you actually have. It is not a measure of what you will actually do on your D day. Now, similarly, it can happen in the opposite case, so that if you're doing really, really well in your mock tests, please do not get complacent and go get very overconfident about your preparation and go there on the D-Day and do something that can hamper your preparation for the entire year. Also, kudos to the people who have signed up for all of the three slots of Snap. All the best to you. And please don't worry too much about the scores that you're having right now. Just focus on your preparation. Just focus on taking as many mocks as you can, analyzing them to the T, and not making the same mistakes that you did. And if sometimes in the last 9 to 10 days it might be that you were scoring really, really well in your mocks, but there is a dip in a test or two, please understand that it is a very, very normal thing to have. There can be n number of factors which might have gone wrong that day. Maybe the paper was slightly difficult, maybe the pattern of the paper in which the concepts that were tested were not to your strength, or maybe you were just having a bad day. That does not reflect on the preparation that you've had throughout your year. Have faith in yourself, stay calm, and all the very, very best. Thank you so much for joining us this time.
And also, guys, don't forget to register yourself for mock snap mocks, which are right coming from SCMHRD. So yeah, all the best for mocks as well. And also, we would like to thank C2C Matters for giving us such opportunity to connect with all the students and aspirants. Yeah, thank you guys. All the best for Snap.
All the best to everyone. Thank you, Ketan sir, for giving us this opportunity.